Hi all, we will discuss about this new real-time project, that is customer module. Okay, so first we will see what all things we are going to do during development of project. So first we'll go through requirement gathering. So we'll understand what all requirements we have, how many API are there, what all that API will do, and then what will be like structure of all the API. So all those discussion we will do there, and then we'll understand for each API we have functional design document. So we'll go through design document and we'll understand in detail of that API. Okay. Then we'll understand project life cycle. So we'll discuss like what all project development model we have, like agile, waterfall. Since we are going to follow agile method, so we will be more focused on agile methodology discussion. Okay. Then once we will complete all those things, then we'll go for Jira setup, and we'll create a story based on our API. So we'll create multiple story and we'll assign to different participants. After Jira setup, we'll do Git setup. So Git setup is our central repository where we will keep all the documents and then our code. Okay, so everyone will able to access code, YAML file, documents, everything will be there. Okay, then after Git setup, we'll follow this API development life cycle. So in first step will be create YAML file. So we'll create YAML file, then we'll publish on Exchange, and then we'll take feedback. Once everything is okay, then we'll go for API development. So we'll develop API, and then once we will complete development of API, so we'll follow all the best practice and all during development of our API. Then we'll do local testing. Once we will complete our local testing, we'll go for unit testing. Okay, and before that, I think yeah, we'll see unit testing we'll do before deployment or after deployment. So for few API like process API, we have to do after deployment of system API. So that part will take care. Next, we'll do code checking. Once we will do everything like development testing, then we'll do code checking. So we'll do inside Git repository. Okay, and next, after code checking, we'll discuss about different deployment models. So in MuleSoft, we have different deployment model, like Cloud Hub deployment model, on-premise deployment model, RTF deployment model, and cloud this hybrid deployment model. So we'll discuss about all the deployment model, but we are going to deploy our application on Cloud Hub, so we will be more focused on Cloud Hub deployment model. Okay, so once we'll complete this deployment task, then we'll apply policy. So after that, we'll secure our API. So in case of like Experience API, we'll use JWT token. In case of process or system API, we'll use this client ID and client secret. Then in case of maybe in Experience API or system API, we can apply rate limiting also. So we'll see based on scenario where we need to put which policy. Okay, so all those things we are going to follow during our this entire project development. So all those things we are going to follow. Next, objective of this exercise, we want to simulate a real world scenario. So this customer management, we are going to handle customer related stuff. For example, registration of customer login, customer can view details, customer can update details. So all those things we are going to do, and these all things will be very similar to our real world scenario. Okay, next, make use of MuleSoft out of box capability. So what does it mean? Like in MuleSoft we have multiple component that do similar kind of task, but the like scenario where we will apply means one MuleSoft component will give better performance and another will not give that much of good performance. For example, we have for each and we have parallel for each. So there are many scenarios where we can't use for each. we can't use parallel for each. So at that time we have only limitation we can use for each. But there are many scenario where we can use parallel for each and we can make our API more efficient. So what happen in parallel for each? It will create multiple threads and each thread will start processing different records. So overall processing time will decrease. Okay, so in this way we have different component in MuleSoft, and we'll see which component is more suitable for our particular business scenario, and we'll use that out of box capability. Same thing we have in third point, include previous best practice. So like once you will start working slowly, you will get in-depth idea of mule component, and then you have to identify which mule component is more suitable. For example, we if we are calling any external system and we are calling like 2 3 external system, either we can do in sequential way, like we will sequentially call first external API, then second external API, and then third external API. But if we don't have any dependency among those 3 external API, then what we can do, we can use scatter gather and we can do parallel call. So overall throughput of our API will increase and will complete our API execution in lesser time. Okay, then make use of Design Center to create RAML. So we'll create RAML on Design Center, and when we will create our project also, we'll take RAML from directly from Design Center. So what advantage we will get? Whenever there will be any change in Design Center, like using small uh, work, we can include whatever change we did there in our main RAML, main application RAML. Okay, then organize and create the mule project based on the business scenario and solution described in the document. So we'll follow document and we'll do development. Create mule message flow, make use of mule component and connector, implement a solution based on the scenario and specification given in the document. So we'll follow that. Again, those 2 points are similar. So we'll follow documents and then we'll do development based on whatever business scenario and flow we have in document. Then once we will complete this development part, we'll go for testing. So we'll do local testing, then we will do unit testing. Okay, and at the end, like yeah, so for local testing we will use Postman. Okay, and at the end we'll try to see performance testing also using this we have some application where we can do performance testing. We'll do that also. Okay, next, so demo the working example at the end. So whatever we'll do development, we'll demo that one. Okay, and extend and enhance your application in real time. So like we are completely going to do in real time scenario. So whatever connector and component we have, so we are taking real time component, connector and everything. Even this business scenario is also real time. So many business, like if you go for retail domain, if you go for insurance domain, if you go for a real estate domain, so every domain will have same business for customer management. Okay, they do similar kind of thing. Okay, now, so in this business scenario we are going to work on customer management system. Will allow customer to create account, to check and update the member details. Okay, once he will create account, he will do login and he will check his detail. He will do member login, he will do reset member credentials. So this can be like forgot user ID and password and reset user ID and password after login. Okay, so both task that user can do. First, customer will go to company portal and use sign up option, will create account by providing basic detail. So customer will go to company portal, that like front end, and there they will select this sign up page and they will fill detail. Once they will fill detail, they will go to OTP verification page. Okay, and they will enter their OTP and they will complete the sign up process. So this is like front end part, but in back end, front end will call our mule application. We will create different mule API for send OTP, for verify OTP, for customer registration. For everything we will provide API, so we are going to work on those API. Once customer completes successful member registration, they can log in using the login username and password. Okay, so again for login we will have one API that will do login task. If in case customer forgot the login details, they can utilize forgot password and forgot username option. So again for forgot username and password we have API. During customer login, they will receive an OTP on their mobile number, which is needed as a part of login process and even for registration process also. Okay, so for this purpose also we need to create one API. Okay, so you can see like for entire to achieve this entire business scenario, we have to create multiple API. So we have list of API, almost 30 API we have in this real-time scenario. Okay, here you can see flow diagram like customer registration will start. So customer will go to home page of web portal or mobile application. They will fill detail. Now in backend, like front end will call our send OTP API, then they will call our verify OTP API. Then there will be one another API that will store record customer record in Salesforce. Okay, so for that we have this API. Now you can see we have another API. This will sync data from Salesforce to database. Okay, and this database will use for analytics and other purpose. So we are storing all the customer detail, whatever customer created, we are storing inside this database. Okay, now here after this registration process, customer will do like login. Okay, so for login we have authorized customer API where we like this API will check that particular customer enter valid credential or not. Same way we have to another process reset username and password and forgot username and password. So in this case, like customer is not logged in, they forgot their user ID and password, then they will use their mobile number or email address to reset or to forgot username and password. In another place we have reset user ID and password. In this customer will call like not customer, front end will call our reset username and password API. So this API will change username and password. Okay, so like in front end customer will do login and they will select this reset username option. Then from front end we will get request like reset username and we will get username and mobile number or email address, and we will update that username and we'll send OTP or not OTP. Yes, we need OTP also. We'll send OTP, we will verify that customer and then we will change that and we will send confirmation message on SMS or email. Next, once customer will perform login task, then he can do update. He can update his profile details, so he can change his name, he can change his mobile number, so other things he can change. So this is related to that particular functionality, and we have update member detail API. At the end we have view detail. So like once customer will do login, he can view his detail, like whatever information he has entered, he can see his detail. Okay, so this is a flow diagram what all things we have in our this customer management module. So you can see like it start from registration, then login, and then customer profile management. Okay, next we have API landscape diagram. So let me minimize this. Okay, so here you can see we have two experience system. One is mobile application, another one is web application. Okay, so these two are experience system we have, and here you can see we have 3-layer architecture: experience layer, process layer, and system layer. Okay, so as you know, like in MuleSoft, mostly we follow this API LED architecture where we have 3-layer. Experience layer is responsible to connect with external system, okay, or experience system. So based on experience system we create experience layer. So here you can see for for member experience API we have two application. One is mobile member XP API, another one is web member XP API. So this mobile member XP API will connect with this mobile system, okay, and this web member XP API will be used by this web application. And why we need different experience layer for different experience systems, since they need different set of data. Okay, for example, in case of mobile, we are not displaying all customer related data, we are displaying only few information. Okay, so we have another API that will do required transformation and will send only required data. And for web application, we are displaying entire customer detail. Okay, so generally in this experience layer, what we do transformation, and we will send required set of data to different experience system, and we apply required policy and all. Okay, so mostly in experience layer we should apply either OAuth or we should apply JWT. So in our project we are going to apply JWT token. Okay, now we have authorization XP API. This experience layer is common for both web and mobile application. Okay, since we don't need different set of data for this two experience system. Okay, so we are using same experience layer. So here we have API related to login, API related to OTP. In this two place we have API related to member registration, get detail, post update detail. So we have those kind of API here. So this experience API will call this process API. Here we will apply all the business logic. Okay, for example, if we are doing registration, then we have few fields that we need to verify. Okay, during registration, like mobile number should contain 10 digit, or we have some that verification we can do in front end also, but there are few verification we need to do in our API side also, that we will do in process layer. So generally in process layer we apply all the business logic. Okay, and then this process layer will call this system layer. Okay, and this system layer will interact with target system. So in target system we have Salesforce, we have MySQL, and we have external SMS system. This is our third party API. Okay, these three target system we have. So this two system API will be responsible to connect with this external system, and with it will either get detail and it will set detail. And here in process layer we will apply all the business logic, and this process layer will work as an intermediate layer between experience layer and system layer. Here you can see one API we have, one application we have, which is not connected with any experience layer. Since this one is scheduler based, so we don't need any experience system to call this API. Sometimes there may be scenario like we have scheduler API and we want to make it on demand basis. Like scheduler API means this API will run at particular time, like 4 p.m. every day at 4 p.m. or maybe midnight every day at midnight, or once in a week. So no need to trigger this API from any experience system or outside, like, so it will run automatically at particular time interval, so whatever we will configure. So here we don't need, but if we want to make it on demand basis, then we can add one experience layer on top of this. So as of plan, actually we are not going to add experience layer, but there are another way also, like we can go on any point platform, and from there also we can trigger this scheduler API. Okay, so all those discussion we'll do in detail when we will start working on this project. So total you can see here we have total 8 application, and each application contains a set of API. So here we have 3 API, here we have 3 API, here we have I think 5 to 6 API. Same way we have 3 API here, we have 1 API here, we have 6-7 API here, and same way we have 3 API here, we have 3-4 API here. Okay, and this process API will call this system API, so we don't have any separate system API for this. Okay, now target system we have Salesforce, where we will do customer management. So we'll store all the customer related data and we'll do all the processing from here. Whenever we need customer related data or whenever we will insert customer related data, we'll take from Salesforce. We have this database where we will keep syncing our Salesforce data for different purpose, for backup purpose and for analytics purpose. Okay, so we'll keep data here. And another, we have external system. This is third party API for SMS, so we will use this API to send OTP to customer. Okay, so this is just a high level overview of our API landscape, what all application we have, what all API we have, and how they are connected, what all target system we have, whatever source system we have, everything we can see here. Now here you can see about each API. So in mobile member XP API we have 3 API. So first one is post/members. Okay, so this API will do registration process, so we'll take customer detail and will insert in Salesforce. Same way we have get member and patch member. So in get member, and this one is for mobile application, so this get member will fetch customer related data and this patch member will update customer related data. So same set of API we have here for this experience layer. This is web member XP API. So for this is for web application. Okay, here also we have 3 API. One is to insert customer related data for registration purpose, this one to get fetch customer related data, and this one to update customer related data. After that we have this authorization XP API where we have login API. This API will do login. This API will forgot user. Okay, this API will use to do forgot username password. This API will use to reset username and password. So forgot username password will do before login, and this reset username and password will do after login. So after login, if I want to change my password, then we'll use this one. Okay, then we have post member member ID. This one is to send OTP and this one is to get OTP. Okay, so we have 2 API here. So actually we have separate document for each API. If you see here, so here you can see this project overview we have, where we have all the high level documents, and here you can see we have document for each API. So if you see here, we have this functional design document that we will discuss just after this. Okay, so for each API we have one separate set of documents. Okay, now in process layer we have these 3 API. This one is for registration purpose, this one for get detail, and this one for update customer detail. As I told, we have one scheduler API. This will move data from Salesforce to database. Okay, and this API will be scheduler SFDC to DB process API. Okay, here you can see like a short term like a PAPI, then XP API. XP API means experience API, PAPI means process API. Okay, and then we have this authorization process API. Here again we have few API for login, forgot username, forgot password. So that experience API what we have created, they will call this process API. Okay, so here we have total 5 API in process layer, and in process layer of this authorization PAPI application. Then member SAPI, again we have 4 API here. So each API will connect with different external system and will perform different activity. So for each API we'll do detailed discussion in later. So for now we are just going high level, we are going through high level overview, what all things we are going to do, how many API we have. Okay, and then we have authorization system API. So here again we have this API to connect with external system. Now what all external system we are going to use? So first we have Salesforce. Okay, then we have database. In database we'll use MySQL cloud version. Okay, and then we'll use object store. So object store we'll use for different purpose, like we'll use for caching purpose, and we have some other operation we'll use object store there. Then we will use external SMS API. So this API will use to send OTP. And then we have front end which will call our API. So this one is our source system. Other are our target system, but this one is our source system. Okay, so this is a high level overview of this customer management system, what all API we are going to do, how these API are connected, what is our business objective, how will what is our flow diagram, like how we are going to achieve this particular business. So I explain it here. Okay, now we'll see detailed document of one API. Okay, since we have, I think, almost 28 API. So if you see here, we have almost 28 API, or maybe 1 2 API we can increase as I told. Like for this scheduler process API, we can create one experience API if you want to make it on demand basis. Okay, so 1 2 API can increase, but that we'll decide later on. Now let's discuss about this experience API. So this is web app member registration experience API v1. So this API will be responsible to connect with the external system and will take all the detail, and it will pass the detail to process API. Okay, for applying all the business logic. So this API for registration purpose, so it will take detail from customer and it will pass to process API. So what all detail it will take, how it will behave, everything we'll discuss here. Okay, so here you can see like this one is initial draft. If in future if we'll do any change, we will update here. So same kind of like functional design document you have to create in your organization. Nowadays, like many company follow this functional design document. If you go join any big MNC, they follow this document and all. And there are many company they don't follow this functional design document. They will move to this they will directly go to Jira story, and there only they will mention everything. It depends on company to company, but here we are going to follow all the standards. So we have created this functional design document. Okay, so this API will do customer registration. This API will use to do customer registration. Front end will get all the detail from customer and will call this API to store customer detail in SFDC. Okay, so here we have again explained this particular business scenario for this particular API. Okay, this is not related to this is not overall. So this one is API level, on API level. Okay, so here you can see this flow diagram. Process will start, will call post member process API. Okay, and then we'll get response from post member process API and we'll send response to front end. If registration is successful, we'll get success message and we'll reply front end will success. If we will get any failure, like some business logic is failing, or something happen like in system API and process API, some technical failure is there, then we'll get error message and we will send error message to front end. After this, you can see here we have sequence diagram. So in sequence diagram, we are calling this from front end. We are getting request. We are front end will call our this experience API, and this experience API will call this process API. Will get response back, and will send this member experience API will send response back to front end. Okay. So here we can see like this API is very simple API, so we don't have any complex sequence diagram. But other API like this scheduler one and this verify like reset username and password, those API are very complex. So there you will able to see complex diagram. But here we have very simple one. So front end will call this experience API. This experience API will process API and will get response back and will send response back. Okay. Here you can see API detail. So initial version is 1.0.0. Resource is /members. Okay, method will be post, since we have multiple method like get, post, put, patch, delete, but we are going to use post method since we are going to enter customer registration detail. Okay, so we are going to create new resource. So if we are going to create new resource, we should use post method. Okay, it's not hard and fast rule, but yes, as per API governance, we should use post method if we are going to create resource. So it will be like easy to understand for someone who are going to consume our API. If we will use any random method, technically it will not give any error. Technically it will work, but we should follow API governance and whatever standards we have, so that it will be easy for someone to understand behavior of our API by API details whatever we will provide. Okay, now you can see here what all inputs we are going to use for consuming this API. So we will have two header, one will be transaction ID, this we will use for logging purpose, and another one we have channel. So from where we are getting request, we are getting from mobile app or we are getting from web app. Both are mandatory, that's why we can see, you can see here it's a Y, means it's a mandatory. If we customer will not pass, then we will send bad request. And type of both these header is string. Okay, here you can see we have some constant also, like minimum length should be 36, max length should be 36, means this should be of 36 character only. If customer or if frontend will pass any transaction ID like of 35 character or 37 character, it will not work. It will accept only 36 character, and will use UUID to generate this transaction ID, means they should use. Okay, now in body you can see we have multiple elements, so I'm not going to discuss each element one by one. That discussion we'll do when we will start working on project, when we will work on RAML and all. But here you can see we have few like field rule. So whenever you can see one, means this one is parent element, and after this one you can see here 222, means this password, phone, country, these are child of this identity. Same after this one you can see there are multiple 2, means these are child of this address. Okay, so in this way you will able to identify which all are parent element, which all are child element, and which child belongs to which parent. And mandatory Y means that field is mandatory required, and if and this way N means that field is not mandatory. Okay, so based on that we will define our RAML. Will use this field to make our to define our RAML. Data type also you can see here which data type is string, which one is object, which one is integer, everything you can see here, and based on that we will design our RAML. So this is all about our body in input. This is all about header in our input. Next we have this sample payload. So we have this sample payload for our body, and after that we have output. In output also, like we have 200. So in 200, like in case of success response, what we are going to send, we have this structure here, everything here also, field name, field rule, mandatory, and type. Okay, and after that we have this sample payload. So in response, like if we are getting like our process is completed successfully, then we will get 200. But if it failed due to any reason can be bad request, reason can be critical error, reason can be server error, reason can be unauthorized access. So if there will be any failure, then what will be structure of our response? So you can see here, so it will contain message, code, success, then it will contain error type. So here also actually there should be field rule, so it should be 1 1, then success will be again 1, then error will be 1. But you can see here inside error we have type detail and these other details we have, so it will be 222. Okay, so this will be our field rule, and this all will be mandatory, and type will be string, integer, object, so you can see here. Okay, so same field rule, actually whatever structure we have here for bad request, same structure we have for other error code. So I will do copy paste in other places. But you can see here in case of bad request we are getting this type bad request, code 400, title invalid request, the input contains invalid data. So this kind of error we are going to send to front end, so they will come to know what happened with our API, so why our API giving error. So they will come to know they are sending incorrect data. Here we can give more detailed description, like for which data we are sending bad request, that also we can mention. Okay, same way we have this 401, this is for unauthorized access, so we'll send this unauthorized access error. Okay, same way we have 404, means page not found or service not available, in that case we will send this error. Okay, and then we have 500 for critical error, we will send this particular error, server's error, internal server error, and we'll send detailed description. So in this way we have this we have complete detail of this particular API. Same way we have document for each API. Okay, so based on this, like we'll do our YAML design, and based on this detail and this sequence diagram we'll do our development. Okay, so every detail like you will get, and before going to start this project we'll understand all the API. Okay, we'll do requirement gathering, we'll do Jira setup and all. Once we will do all those things, then we will go for development. So in requirement gathering, in project development life cycle understanding, and then Jira setup, we'll do all this discussion. And then when we will do Git setup, we'll create a repository for each application, and then we'll start our development. So as I told, we'll start from YAML. So we'll develop YAML in our design center, and then we'll use that YAML from design center in our Mule application, and then on top of that we will do our development. I hope I'm able to explain all those details, like what we are going to do in this project. Still, if anyone will have any doubt, so you can comment your doubt or you can connect with me personally. So soon I am going to start this project, so you can connect with me personally. So I will provide more, like I will provide detail how you can connect with me. Yeah, thanks everyone.